Now, my story today involves PUFFCO, and Jason asked me to comment upon that. So we spent yesterday trying to gather up some of the factual information, and it was hard to find. I reviewed a 180-page complaint. My eyes hurt afterwards. We couldn't find all the other complaints, but I wrote a quick article. It's not Emerson, so, I'm not trying to get a Pulitzer Prize. Don't criticize me about it. What we've got is PUFFCO, which is Puff Corporation. It's a Delaware company or corporation that, is out of Los Angeles. And they claimed they had a patent on this, vaporizer called Peak. It had a certain design, colors and things like that. And the company that made Carta E-Rig made something that looked a lot like it. So back in 2019, as companies do that'll hire a lawyer, they convince him to go file a lawsuit. So PUFFCO sued the company making Carta Rig and said, look, you're infringing upon our trade dress here. It looks a certain way. They threw something in there about a patent, but I didn't really understand it. And this got started in North Carolina because there was a website there that was selling these vapes. This is how attorneys deal with people trying to take your patent and trademark rights and things like that. They sue them. Okay. So it looks like the company is making Carta E-Rig went to Los Angeles and sued PUFFCO. Said, no, this is ours. We got the patent. And I'm trying to figure this shit out last night. And what it looks like is that when they got to L.A., the claim of a patent right by Carta Rig makers, it turns out that they didn't actually have the patent. The patent had been assigned to PUFFCO. And so the judge pulled the rug out and said, you get the fuck out of here. You guys, it's not your patent. You don't have standing. They threw him out of court. Okay. So I'm looking at this like this is not even a Pyrrhic victory. Then there was another case involving these similar vape devices, and someone had gotten an $863,000 judgment from a jury, and the court took a look at it and said, no, hang on, this is not your patent. You can't come in here and do this. We're sending it back down to the trial court. We pulled the rug out from under you because you can't come in and litigate when you really can't prove you have the patent that you put on the label. You got a little R in the circle. It's a registered patent. It's a registered trademark. They didn't do that. So the appellate court said, nah, go back and start over again. And you're really not going to get your $873,000 out of this. Now, when I stood back last night late after Jenny and Jason sent me the stuff, it's like I'm smoking a bowl going, what the fuck does all this stuff mean? So I put together a short little blurb that in the final analysis, if you really are going to try to register patents and trademarks in this industry, first of all, don't think you can watch YouTube and know how to do this. Find yourself a patent attorney. Okay? And most companies that have valuable patents and trademarks, they don't let you fart the name of that before they send you a cease and desist letter, and they're right up your ass after that. So if you're going to get into this industry where you might have a patent on some part of a vape device, or you spend a lot of time and money registering or perfecting your trademark, the colors, the patterns, all that sort of stuff, and these trade dress have nothing to do with the operation of the device. They're all non-functional things that you put on there so people recognize who you are. If you get recognition of your trademark in this industry, you had better be prepared to have an attorney send cease and desist letters out. And the next thing is you're coming in to stick a boot up somebody's ass right away, because as we're beginning to see companies like True Leaf that have a big place in the market, Stizzy's another one, Cookies is another one that's, having some trouble right now, but they spend a lot of time getting name recognition. You'd better be prepared with a team to stand your ground and protect these intellectual property rights, because if you don't, the people I know in this industry that are, scandalous, they'll try to steal it. It's just the way this industry works. There aren't a lot of reputable people out there that you can, depend on to be there and get your back. They're going to try to steal your shit. Sort of the way the black market has worked for a long time. we're now in, let's call it the white market. I don't know if that's appropriate. It's not a pejorative, but legal market now, you've really got to have your shit together and be prepared to work for recognition, but then to hold on to it. That would be my lesson from all this. I'm going to throw it back to you guys for your experience of, what we might learn from these pissing matches between PUFFCO and Artie E-Rig.
I want some more fucking competition. You know what I'm saying? Like none of these technologies would get any better if motherfuckers just sat on patents and shit like Apple has that ain't going nowhere. And Carter V is dope.
They gotta innovate. People have to innovate. I mean, somebody's got they figured out a pathway. They did it. Hey, look, I mean, you can jump on the bandwagon. That's real fucking easy. Or you can have some originality and you can have some guts, right, and you can try something new. I mean, here's the reality: is that this isn't the last we're going to hear about these litigations on e-cigs or e-vapes or whatever. There's probably some more earth-shattering shit that's going to come out, and we'll see where the cards lay in there. But if anyone's hitching their ride to any of these companies, you better think again, baby, because we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go.
Well, dare I say, it's not the first one either. And could PUFFCO maybe be the Kim Rivers of vape hardware? Because my DMs that I received from the guy who owned Candy Pens helped them win a lawsuit against Candy Pens in 2019. So it seems like there's a lot of this like, oh, you can't dance on my cloud. Fuck you and your vapor device. Get out of here.
Yeah, man.
This is why we have lawyers, and this is why we have a court of law. And this is the way the system works in America.
Hey, shout out to Drake.
He's not a U.S. citizen, bro.
This is all the Lawyers Full Employment Act. So I'm out there pumping my profession. But as I've told you many times, the world I operate in the court is not the world the average person works in. We are very meticulous to only have the facts come out, and most people don't give a shit about the facts. If you're making money, I want to find a way to get in on your money-making scheme, and they'll do scandalous shit, and I'm an asshole for hire. Right. If you want to fuck with my people, come on, let's go. I got my baseball bat, and I'm going to kick your ass. You got to be prepared to do that in this industry, or you're going to lose what you've worked hard for. Your shareholders are going to be pissed off at you because you've lost value. And I agree. We need more competition. Full stop. That'll bring prices down and innovation to our market. Yeah.
And the crazy part about all that, Dale, is you just look at because of Saman brought up the whole e-cigarette thing. Jason's homeboy Duncan that got popped out here, the congressman.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Your
love that guy. He's fucking patriot.
Ever since he got shot down, and they started demonizing all these. They started what was that? The jewels and all that shit. Guess what? The Chinese came in here trapping and flooded the market.
Yeah, they did.
With all these, and they win. So they need to, like Dale said, open the fucking market up, allow some American innovation, or these other countries will come in here and they will flood the streets with what the people want and what they need.
Then shout the fuck out to those trap prices on the Pebbles and the Flumes, because I'm paying less now and buying them in flavors I didn't know existed. But I don't know. This is interesting. I just feel like you should be able to, I don't know, like if you're directly infringing upon somebody's patent, usually a patent is to keep people from competing with you, right? So I don't see where there's only so many ways you can atomize cannabis, right? There's just only so many fucking things, right? So I don't know, and it's difficult because it's two companies who have two very polarizing fucking owners, right? So you either love them or you hate them on both sides. There are people who are like, I used to work for PUFFCO, or I used to work for Rosin Tech and Show Labs, and let me tell you why XYZ is an asshole and this, that, and the other, and they kicked me in the ass one time in 1997. Like, it's a very mudslinging situation, and I found that out last night while I was trying to go through this and find actual legal documentation, which has conveniently been very buried from the internet. So I don't know. It's interesting, but I think that they need to allow more innovation, allow competition. Like if you're like, I stand on business with we're the best out here, then it shouldn't, it shouldn't be hard to do it with competition. And Yara's going to run out of shit to judge if we don't let more hardware come to the market.
That part too.
Well, my experience with people who run successful companies is you've got to be Machiavellian. You can't be a nice guy. You got to be a fucking asshole when you need to be a fucking asshole and say no and be ready to back it up. Because you can't be, soft and mamby-pamby and compete in this kind of a market and run a multi-million-dollar business and be successful. You've got to be ready to smack some motherfuckers in the mouth.
Yeah. On a Thanksgiving, man. Thankful for that.
That's really it. I think everyone wants to ride their own wave in this game, and the reality is there's only a few waves, man. And if your name is PUFFCO, you are the wave in this case, and people got to ride your wave. So maybe the way for competition to come about is for them to open up a licensing agreement to other companies that want to do a different branded product and let them do it. But ultimately, this is why technology and technological innovations and any innovations can be protected because of this reason. But I mean, yeah, Jenny, you're right. There's only so many ways to atomize a vape or atomize cannabis, and we've already created a way to shove it up your ass. So there's really nowhere to go. We only have a few more options, people. Okay?
Oh, butt dabs coming soon.
I mean, yeah, and you know what? When we look at these two companies and you break them down, like if you know Roger and very well or anything about them, these are two guys that are both from New York, both came to California, both opened up, show used to be just rosin tech and they used to do whatever they did. Now they're doing this hardware. They were a distributor of like random shit, right? So like they would sell you bongs and blah, 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 blah. Now they've expanded. I wonder if this is just some deep neighborhood beef from back in the day.
Well, speaking of that, it's funny that you mentioned that, Jenny Beth. But first of all, we did get a super chat in from C-Word who says, thankful for Bud from Broski. And y'all, kissy face. Bosky. Sorry, Bosky. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's all right.
You know how people get about their branding.
Well, I'll tell you what. I remember back in the day before PUFFCO ever came out with their with their peaks, back when PUFFCO just made vape pens. And I remember Chris from G Pen was giving Roger a hard time about his pens, and I actually had to like get them two to talk so that way they could have a conversation and whatnot. And ultimately they ended up, being friends and allowed for fair competition. Chris allowed for some fair competition with PUFFCO and whatnot. And so I find it very interesting that Roger is not playing it forward in the same way that Chris from G-Pen provided for him.
Yeah,
right. And you know what I did find when I was looking?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, huge. I just want to say, huge shout out to Chris Rado and the work that they do over there. He is eating for life because he opened that up, and he is eating off the licensing. So go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's a really interesting statement, Jason, because as I was looking for information on this lawsuit last night, I found lawsuit after lawsuit, company after company, filed by PUFFCO, filed by PUFFCO, filed by PUFFCO. Like, dude, at some point, like, the peace and love and mushrooms save the world and we're all trippy and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and like, shout out to Chelsea, amazing person, appreciate her. But you gotta like actually live that and walk that if you're gonna talk it, right? And just completely trying to keep other people like compete. You have a great fucking product. Let somebody compete with it.
Yeah, they are definitely about the cancel culture over there, because I know I've talked with different employees and they were that were PUFFCO employees, and they said that they're not allowed to ever use a card or something on their social media, on their personal social media and stuff like that, or else they get fired and whatnot. And it's just like, let people just, you know what I'm saying? Let's just let people leave, man.
I'm a fan of their products, but they sounded more and more like Drake than Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
A lot. They're not like, yeah, no, for sure. And I agree with that. And I just think that it's fucking weirdo behavior. Like Roger blocked me one time because I'm like sitting there, he's on his Instagram doing his cosmonaut shit. And I'm like, hey, yo, I'm trying to get some customer service on my fucking red ring of death. My shit's flashing. Had a long day. Just wanted a dab. He blocked me. I came back in there under my dog's profile, and I'm like, hey, yo, why are you yeeting my mom? She's just looking for some help. So Chelsea hits me up a few minutes later. But yeah, it's interesting.
Well, and on
They've also been sued in a class action, by the way, for selling faulty, planned obsolescence type devices.
Planned obsolescence.
I would have to look that up. Maybe that's another story for Dale.
Well, we're gonna go into a commercial. We're trying to end this on time for you guys today. You guys, we're trying to.
Oh Oh man, we had a schedule. We only have.
I gotta get on the road.
No. We still have 3 stories, Saman. We gotta go. We're gonna go to commercial. We're gonna be right back.